It's Fam Matters. What's going on, fam, out there? Dr. Brown,
Dr. Young.
what's happening? Yes, we are real doctors. Yes, we are what we call siblings. We cousins, but we more like brother and sister. And we welcome you all to Fam Matters, the only place where you can get unqualified opinions from qualified people. That's what we
And
call
that,
ourselves,
folks,
right?
is the podcast in a nutshell.
That's the podcast in a nutshell. Thank you very much. That was on the fly. That was by inspiration of the spirit. Okay. Fan Matters is faith and mess because that is what we like to talk about. All right. That is what we do. Really quick, just for all the viewers out there. First of all, this is our first episode. So yay to us. All right. Of course, Fan Matters is part of the Hey Young World podcast group. And it's because Dr. Brown is Dr. Young Brown.
It's
Right.
true.
And we're
I was a
fans.
young first.
You were young first. You're a young always. You got the blood in you, girl.
That was
Nothing.
really
No,
strange.
no response. It was
No.
strange. Sorry,
It
I
was,
didn't mean to.
sorry, folks.
So, Dr. Brown, aka Shady Grady, how are you doing today? Y'all are gonna find out why I call her Shady Grady. Trust me, you will.
Folks, it's totally untrue. I don't know if it's slander or libel because I'm not a doctor in those legal things, but it's one of those things where people say things that are untrue, and you'll find out. Time will tell. So, how am I doing? I'm doing okay. It's raining outside, but I have the joy of the Lord on the inside.
Oh wow.
Hallelujah.
Oh,
You felt it, didn't you?
jeez.
Hmm.
Oh, that was.
It
I
was,
got a quickening. Did that just drop
hmm
in your spirit?
didn't it?
I love that term, drop in your spirit. So
You're about to say something so ignorant, right?
That's a, you dropped in my spirit. It dropped in my
You
spirit.
dropped in my
So
spirit.
God only drops. Does God ever just like lay
Does it
down?
lift? Does
does
God
God
ever
ever
lift
does
things
God ever
into your
lay down
spirit?
anything in your spirit? Does God
Mm.
ever, oh, I don't know, let's see, just gently place in your spirit? Does God have to drop it like it just like drop it like it's hot? Is that
Well,
how it
you
came
know
in
the
your
new
spirit? Is it
terminology
dropped
that
like
I
it was hot?
like
Huh?
that the Facebook saints are using lately
What is
is
it?
the spiritual download. I love that one.
That goes along. I hate that. I hate it with a passion. That goes along with all other things that Facebook saints and ain'ts use. This is just me. You just called me old right before we started, right?
Yes,
And
accurate.
I am. My back is hurting right now. My back is hurting. I think I got to go to the bathroom. It's a lot going on when you get older, right?
Yes.
But I hate that, like, whatever your birthday number is, let's just take number like 39, like chapter 39 loading. I hate that with a passion. That's so dumb to me. It just is.
I'm just gonna make a mental note for my next birthday to put chapter 37 loading. And I'm gonna tag you in it so you can see it.
And I'm gonna say loading what? Is it so your
Loading.
birthday is a download? Is
Yeah.
so now we're all digital. So I think then Mark Zuckerberg probably is happy then. Thank you. You just played right into his hand.
We're all avatars. I
Hmm.
mean, what is real?
We got to stay on track. So
Oh,
really,
sorry.
y'all, this is really what it is. This is two siblings who got together and was like, we just want to cut up,
Basically.
and talk about like things of the day or whatever. So as we kick this off, excuse me, like we're going to be serious about some stuff, and not that case in New York, right? We were talking about it, and I remember when it happened like a few days ago. Where the
Mhm.
the bishop has on all this jewelry, and somebody comes
Supposedly a
to the
million
church
dollars
and
worth of
rob.
jewelry
Right, $1 million
while
worth of
he's
jewelry. I
preaching.
have there are so many questions I have about that particular thing. The first question, okay, so once again, a bishop. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have put that in air quotes. I apologize.
That was so
That
rude.
that was rude. It was bishop, but no,
He's a bishop.
um, a bishop on Sunday
Mhm.
morning is preaching, and someone comes into the church and robs them. And this is, of course, it's live stream. It's live stream. This is in New York. I don't know what part of New York or anything like that, but it comes into the church and robs him. Gets the jewelry, and I think they flee. They fled in like a white Mercedes or something like that. Now, the first thing you said, right? The streets were talking. The streets were talking like real quick, and I mean like these gospel streets. Y'all think the
The
streets out there?
gospel street.
These gospel streets
Listen,
are real. All right.
when I tell you the gospel grapevine was jumping about Bishop,
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of questions and concerns that the community had about the live stream,
A
just to
lot.
name a few.
A lot.
Bishop was very calm when these Negroes walked up in his church with firearms.
I mean,
He
when you
laid
have,
down very softly.
but when you
He
got the
said
breastplate
he
of
had,
righteousness on, you don't have to worry about that, right?
listen, he said he had chains on the outside of the robe and chains on the inside of the robe, and they felt around so they could feel the chains on the inside. The community also noted that there was perhaps his armor bearer is unclear, sitting over in the corner of the stage. And that man, when I tell you he sat just as quiet as a church mouse and held his Bible in his lap the whole time.
Hold on. I have to interject here because as a former armor bearer, yes, as a former armor, yes, that's right. I was an armor bearer in young in ministry. I was an armor bearer. As a former armor bearer, let me tell you something right now. There are like two kinds of armor bearers, and this is this is real. There are two kinds. They're the kinds that, and I'm sorry, forgive me. That's an old term, right? Now, isn't it like now adjutant, which is a military term, but so armor bearer. Hold on. I got you. 'Cause I feel your spirit. It just dropped in my spirit that your
It's a
spirit
spiritual
wants to
download.
face them. It was a spiritual download. I used to be an armor bearer. I feel like there are two kinds, right? There's the like the ride or die kind. That's like, I'm security. I'm armor bearer, but I'm also security. And when something pop off, I got you, player. I got you, pastor. I got you, bishop. I'm gonna lay it down. Then there's a second type of which I was, and that was a communicator armor bearer. That armor bearer, when guns are drawn, that armor bearer is looking for the floor, that or staying still. That armor bearer is not going to take a bullet for the pastor. That armor bearer is not going to be like, "Hey y'all." That armor bearer is not going to do anything but sit there and be like, please Jesus, please Jesus, please Jesus, please Jesus. That's it. That is it. So clearly that one was armor bearer a number two.
Type number two.
Type
Here's
number
my
two.
question though. Supposedly there was people in there. Nobody screamed or nothing.
So you're telling me that the entire church, oh, so all right, real quick. On the on these gospel streets, it was put out there like really quickly that this was an insurance scam. All right,
Hmm.
that was put out there like really quick. Of course, the
Immediately.
police were like, oh, we're investigating it and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, and those who know was like, man, that's an insurance scam. So what you're telling me though, Dr. Brown, is that the entire church was in on it. Like the entire church. Is that what you're
No,
trying to
I'm
tell
not
me?
saying, I'm saying the math ain't mathing,
The
right?
what?
The math ain't math. Oh, is that
The
a young
math.
people's term that you're unfamiliar with?
The math ain't mathing?
Write that
Oh, I'm
down.
writing this
Ask your
down.
kids about it.
That's that's well, number my 7-year-old definitely doesn't know that, but he does know all the lyrics to The Lion King and the entire script of the SpongeBob 2004 movie, which he has recited all the way through while we were in the car. So there was like no getting out at all. None. All right. so so what you're saying is sidebar,
I'm just
right?
saying
There's
it's
gonna be a lot of
something
sidebar. The
fishy
math
about
ain't
it.
mathing. No, that's like a
This whole
term.
podcast is a sidebar. Let's get clear on that. The math ain't math. You really never heard that?
I've never heard that, but I
Oh my
swear to you
God, you're
right now,
so
I
old.
am writing it down.
Your
And when my
wife will know that term. What's
I
wrong
can
with
guarantee,
you?
I will bet you a
Let's
thousand
bet.
million
Is
dollars
she
right
home?
now that she does
A
not know
thousand
that
million
term.
dollars. I
No,
guarantee you she
the
knows.
terms that we do know are
I'm gonna call
bussin',
her when we're done.
and this is the one I love messing with my 12-year-old about. No cap. He says something, I say something to him, I'll be like, no cap. So he hates when I do that. So now
Yeah, I'm
I have
sure.
another one to put in my linguistic cabinet. The math
You
ain't
you
mathing,
use the
homie.
word you use the word linguistic and then picked a regular word like cabinet.
Yeah, because I was going somewhere else, but I forgot. That's another thing with getting old.
Repertoire.
Yeah, yeah, that was what I was going for, but I couldn't
Hmm.
remember it, so I just had to go
Yeah,
cabinet.
bless your
That's-
heart.
So go ahead.
So what I'm saying is the math ain't mathin'. There were also gospel grapevine reports that the grand total of the amount of the not the amount, the worth of the
Hmm.
jewelry went from $400,000 to $1 million.
That was a regular word. Go ahead. Hmm.
It was a regular word. Um, and here's the other thing.
Hmm.
This pastor has been gone on the internet streets.
Right.
doing interviews with
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
namely one, Larry Reed Live,
Mhm.
and he showed his whole behind on this interview.
Mm, 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 mm,
He was,
mm.
I don't know that he actually used cuss words because I had to stop listening to the video, but he was calling people names. He used the homophobic slur. I'm just
Oh,
like,
mm-mm. Can't do that.
why are
Can't do
you,
that.
first of all,
Mm. Mhm.
when people feel like they're backed into a corner, they begin to put people down rather than making an actual point.
Right, right. They get mad and
They
they're
get mad
not
and
saying
call people
anything
names.
articulate, really. They're just getting mad.
And that's what he
Yeah.
did. It was totally inappropriate. Like, to me, before I do all that, especially when I know I'm being recorded, I'll hang up and just disappear.
You are ever cognizant that the record
That's
button
what
has been hit.
I'm saying. Now you done already done an IG live post explaining everything that happened. Now we know you friends with Eric Adams. You mad at Larry. I met you and I had a car. It was
It was a thing.
completely ridiculous. And now if there was any credibility to your story,
Mhm.
you now look like you're completely coming off the rails.
Yeah.
Not to mention, you calling yourself Bishop this and that, and you laying these people out because they laughed on a show that's about laughing. Like,
Really.
come
Yeah,
on.
come on. I have a couple questions. The first question is, and I know somebody will be like, "What difference was that make?" But I just want to ask this question. First of all, how many people was in there? I mean, really, come on, Bishop. How many people in the church? Was it like 25 people? I don't know. Second of all, why are you wearing 400,000 or a million? Doesn't actually, Dr. Brown, Jess, it doesn't matter
It
if
doesn't
it's
matter.
$400,000 or a million. It doesn't matter if it's $50,000. Why are
It
you
doesn't
wearing that
matter
much jewelry to
while you're
church?
preaching.
Or at all? Are
While
you a
you are
rapper?
preaching.
Are you a rapper?
Why?
Yeah, I'm rapping these verses. No, you're not. You
He had on a cassock. So of course you have your bishop's chain or whatever that goes with your cassock. But you had on a couple $100,000 worth of change under it?
under it
You ain't got a safe in your office?
because
I just
when
don't, it makes
you
no sense.
because when you take off the cassock, because when you stop,
You gotta take a
preaching,
picture for the
you got to
gram and
stunt.
post it.
You got to stunt on the gram.
I'm sorry.
Man.
Listen, if it's really true, I'm so sorry for your loss with the T, and I hope that you recover all your things. If it's not true, you were still an a-hole to those people. Can I
Oh,
say a-hole? Ooh.
I don't, you just did. You
I
just
mean, he was though. He was. I think it's totally uncalled for. And um he still has some work to do, even if it's true, because then he's not a crook, maybe, but he's still a bigot, right? So either way, it's a
it's pretty
problem for
bad.
me.
Either way, it's pretty bad. I don't even know what to say. I will say this before you even go any further. Don't forget to like this podcast. Don't forget to hit that like button because I know you like us because we're dope. Don't forget to subscribe. Please, we have so many more videos that are going to be coming out. I mean, this is just like crazy. We are a podcast family, and this is the whole point behind what we're doing. So we definitely want you to subscribe. But more than that, we want you to like it. This is why we're doing what we're doing. Another reason why we're doing what we're doing is because there's just like there is a lot of mess out here. And I think that a lot of people are trying to filter out some of that mess, especially those individuals of faith. The reason why we started doing this outside of the fact that one of our when we were young adult pastimes was to go to the mall and
You
just
telling
like
all
talk
our
about
business on the
people.
first episode. Okay.
I gotta,
That's
yeah,
fine.
we gotta go there. But these people go to the mall just talk about, be like, oh, that's trash. What in the world does she got on? I mean, we just being stupid, right? So that's us. But the other thing is, from our childhood, through young adulthood, as we have grown and been in church, all that kind of stuff. Both of us really have a love for God. We do have a love for the church.
Mhm.
I think I could be honest. I think sometimes that love for the church, even in myself, may be waning a bit. Um,
Mm.
but it is still to me very important. And there are a lot of young people, a lot of people who are trying to reconcile the love for God and the love for church. So we are, in essence, poking fun at some of the things that we know exist, but also with a very realistic lens of saying, but don't forget about God. Even though these things are out here, like there's mess out here, faith is still
Mhm.
very important. It is
Mhm.
extremely, extremely important as we, as we run through this life. So this is why we're doing what we're doing, and we really want you all to, not just, like I said, not just like it, not just subscribe to the channel, but definitely hit us up. Hit us up. Our email is fammatterspod@gmail.com. fammatterspod@gmail.com. Bam! I did that without even having to think about it. Fam
Wow.
Matters Pod. I
You're
know, right? I
so
can't
good at
spell.
spelling.
I'm very good at spelling. I was close to winning my 5th grade spelling contest. Thank you very much. You're a hater. Fam Matters Pod @gmail.com. We're going to have some Instagram stuff out there. So we're excited about this. Should we do the hard switch now? Are we finished talking about the guy, I stop the air quotes
He's a
here.
bishop.
The bishop who got
Mm.
robbed. Can I put air quotes around that, please? Please,
Yeah,
no.
let's definitely put air
Okay,
quotes around robbed.
robbed, while preaching. All right, maybe we should do a hard switch. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff that's going on. We gotta kind of gotta exhale. Abortion, like that was a really hard switch from that to
That
abortion.
was
That was a hard
a
switch, wasn't it?
really hard switch. I
That
didn't
was-
know where you were going with that, but here we are. Let's do it.
Here we are. First of all, that's a lie because we're doing a podcast together, so you know exactly where I was going. We will never lie to you guys. Never. All right. Actually, we were talking earlier. Dr. Brown here probably tells the truth too much.
It's true. I maybe
Like
should start lying.
she believes in hard truths. That's why I call her AKA Shady Grady. She believes in hard truths. She will sometimes give them to you, like, in no uncertain terms. And then sometimes she'll hit you on the slide. And you like, wait a minute. She did. If you got to ask a
But
question,
I
she
but I
did.
do it in a way that you can take it in. So
For the
if
most
I
part.
know you can take the hard truth,
For the most part.
straight
What's your
no
hard truth?
chaser.
What's your hard truth about abortion?
My hard truth about abortion is that Christians need to stop trying to mind everybody else's business but their own.
Mm. Mhm.
For me, that's what it really boils down to. I mean, there are lots of issues, right? The primary one is that America is not a theocracy, and Christians should not feel like they have a say on what lots of other people do with their bodies.
Mm.
That's the primary issue.
But doesn't it say in the Bible, "Thou shalt not kill"? So,
The
are we
Bible is
killing
not a
out here
guiding
killing babies?
document for the United States.
Huh?
The Bible is a guiding document for the United States.
You said it is?
Is not.
But it doesn't have to be a guiding document for the United States. It's a guiding document for life. So, if you're a Bible believer, shouldn't you take that to heart? Thou shalt not kill? I mean,
And if
period.
that's your conviction, then don't have an abortion.
Mhm. But I must now stop everybody else from doing it because this
Because
is
you
what it says
believe
in the
that you're the
Bible.
king of the world, which is how many Christians operate.
I'm the king of the world.
I just think
I
it's
love that movie, by
foolish.
the
I
way.
really
Thank you
think
very
it's
much.
foolish.
Leonardo
And the
DiCaprio
other thing
is the actor.
that is frustrating for me as a woman, as a mental health professional, as somebody who cares about equity issues, is y'all care about these unborn babies, but don't care about them at all once they're born. So you won't provide any kind of social safety net for people who have babies and they're experiencing poverty. The adoption system is completely overwhelmed. So this whole goofy argument about adoption instead of abortion is completely ridiculous.
Wow.
It's
Say more.
ridiculous. Okay, one, the adoption system is overwhelmed as it is. I don't have the numbers, but there are thousands and thousands of children right now currently awaiting adoption. Many of those kids will never get adopted. They'll be a part of the foster care system until they're 18. Some social service agencies have supports to provide age out services. Some social service agencies don't have that support. And so the kids have to figure it out once they get 18. Even if you decide to go a private adoption route, adoptions cost like $30,000, making them,
Really? They cost that
yes,
much?
adoptions are super expensive.
I'm like Michael Scott. By
Super
the time that
expensive.
happens, I don't even want the baby no more. That's a 30,000
And that's what a
for a
lot of
baby.
people decide.
Mm-mm.
So the adoption system is supremely inaccessible. So people are acting like, well, if you don't have the baby, if you have the baby, you can just put it up for adoption if you can't raise it. That
Well,
doesn't
that's
make sense.
true.
It's not a but it's not a one-to-one situation.
You can leave
There's
it on the
no
church doorstep.
guarantee that if you forego an abortion, this child will be adopted and then placed in a healthy home.
Yeah,
There's
but
one
so
piece.
you're right. Um, and I think that that really just it boils my blood. That So and because they never talk about these very real numbers that you're talking about, even though you may not have the exact statistic, this is never brought up. So it is, let's get at, oh no, we're killing babies, y'all killing babies. That then we have to also destroy abortion, or try to destroy abortion just statewide. Then also you're destroying other women's health issues and needs that
Exactly.
that go on besides abortions at these clinics. And then it's the hard turn to now talk about a whole life solution. A whole life solution? Really? What does that even mean, a whole
For
life
people
solution?
who don't care about anybody but themselves. These same
Exactly.
people who are spewing this rhetoric are the people who want lower taxes because they don't want Social Security. They don't want
Yeah.
Medicaid and Medicare. They don't want to
Mhm.
subsidize housing. They
Same
don't
one.
want free lunch program in schools. It's the same people.
Same people.
So that's why I said y'all care about the unborn kids, but they got to fend for themselves once they're born,
But they
not
don't care about the
to.
unborn at all. They don't.
Of
I'm
course
sorry.
not. They care. It's a control. It's control. That's all it is. And let's not even talk about the fact that this is really about continuing to disenfranchise women, because even in the quote perfect scenario where biological father is in the picture, they're raising the child together, yada, 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 women bear the load of childbearing and parenting differently and more to their detriment than men do.
I had to because when you get on when you get on your bike like that and you ride, sometimes you use a lot of big words, and I have to think about, I had to really listen to every word. And so when you're done talking, I'm still processing like a sentence ago what you said. And there was a piece in there. There was a piece in there that caught me. And so I'm going to like mostly agree with that statement that you just said. You already know where I'm going to probably
And
get
that's
off.
fine because you're a man.
See, and there's nothing wrong with that. And yes, there are different roles. This is one thing that Carlette and I talk about on the I Did and Still Do Marriage podcast. You know, men and women have different roles. Where what is that book that came out years ago, like Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, or
Women are
something
from Venus.
something like that. And then I hear the other one is, women are like spaghetti, men are like waffles, blah blah blah, all that stuff. Um,
But you talking about emotional stuff. I'm talking about bodies.
Hold on. Oh, okay. Well, see, you didn't say that. You didn't say that. See, that's why I say I have to process your sentences, because you're all the way over here and I'm still stuck back here. If this was track, I am still at the starting line. The gun has gone off and I am just getting out the gates. Yes, the toll absolutely is on their bodies. The toll is absolutely on, and it becomes very real in our households, because Zach, our 7-year-old, I could be in the kitchen and he wants something to eat and he will not come to me. My wife can come into the kitchen and he
He
is like,
probably
"Hey,
walks
mama."
right past you.
I mean, it is absolutely amazing. I will ask him point blank, "Do you want something to eat?" No. And my wife can come into the kitchen 5 minutes later and he sits there and stands there and asks her for something to eat. And it's just like, oh. So yes, I absolutely get it. And honestly, even with this discussion, we've had this talk, and for a long time, I wasn't, and I'm still not. I still don't get me wrong. I don't like abortion. Pure. I don't like it. But I also realize that it is still not for me to judge what you do with your body for whatever reason. Let me tell you something, Dr. Brown. For a long time, I was able to actually justify that, probably with some of what they justify it with, and that is,
Mhm.
women are out here using abortion as a means of birth control, and all that kind of nonsense. And it, there's not, no, I don't even think there are real statistics or even studies on a ridiculous, ignorant statement like that. But that's how people unfortunately think. So for me, once again, it is going back to what you said earlier about the method and the madness of the control that is continually heaped on these bodies. And of course, as we know, and I think you already said it, Black bodies, brown bodies,
Yes,
minority bodies are affected absolutely disproportionately by
absolutely.
this. So,
Because guess what? The little rich 16-year-old white girls that get pregnant in states where abortion is legalized, their parents are going to drive them to a state where it is legalized.
mhm,
Period, point blank. So the people who get screwed by this are the poor people, are the people who can't afford to get to another state,
mhm,
are the people who maybe didn't know they were pregnant at week 5 or 6. Like these legislations that say, abortion is legal up until week 6. Do you know how many women do not know they're pregnant at
right,
6 weeks pregnant?
right, yeah,
That's super early, right?
it is.
Not to mention the real issue here is that somehow we've decided that women are incapable of making their own decisions about their bodies and whether or not they procreate. And that's insulting.
It's
It's
more than this.
really insulting. It really is. The fact that, and this is how you know this is a whole agenda around control because our dear friend Clarence Thomas,
Mm, Uncle Clarence. Lord Jesus.
he ain't
Uncle
my
Ruckus?
uncle,
You mean Uncle Ruckus? I'm
Uncle
sorry.
Ruckus,
Yeah.
our dear friend Clarence Thomas, in the opinion that he wrote, basically said, let's go for gay marriage next,
Yeah, he did. He
right?
did. But of
So
course, he's not going
so
to touch
don't
interracial marriage.
say,
Yeah.
let's investigate your wife for her January 6th dealings. Let's do that.
Can we do that?
Anyway, all I'm saying is it's so transparent that this is this theocratic agenda.
Mm,
And y'all holler about the founding fathers all you want to, but we also have a principle in this country around separation of church and state. If we have religious freedom, then people with differing religious beliefs should be able to survive here. And the people who think abortion is wrong can simply not get one.
mm. Yeah. There's so much to even try to unpack, on this, and we're actually out of time. So unless you want to say like one more thing.
What are the chances of me being able to say one more thing?
Not much.
Slim to none.
It's slim to none. I know we will revisit this topic because we have a bunch of a-hole, congressmen and
Ooh,
senators,
I'm glad you
and
said it after I did.
they're going to continue to do stupid stuff. So I'm quite sure we'll revisit this topic. We haven't even started talking about gun control and all the other things, that exist. But this is faith and mess. We also want to know what you think. So once again, please hit us up. Fam Matters Pod at gmail.com. Fam Matters Pod at gmail.com. Let us know what you think. Go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We're going to have fun, and we hope that you take this journey with us. Dr. Brown,
Dr. Young,
all right. See
it's been
y'all
a
next
pleasure as
time.
always.
As always, thank you very much. All right. See y'all later.
Bye.